Hey, Jim. Look at this thing. Hey, Jim. Well, it's been a while, I know. And this particular video, I'm probably going to be wearing a different shirt by the end because this is going to take a couple of days to put together all the steps. But hopefully I'll be able to cut this into a fairly short video. So what we're doing is we're going to do some tie-dye. And I thought it'd be interesting to compare two different ways to do it. I got one of these kits here. It's got a bunch of colors, and it's just kind of like your dye where you just rinse it in. And my expectation is that it's not going to be that good. It's going to be, not that saturated color-wise, but we'll see. With this stuff, all it says to do is pre-wash your cotton, whatever you're going to do. I'm going to use some t-shirts, and I think I got one skirt. And so I've already pre-washed everything. You got to do that to get the sizing out, or else you might not be able to get the dye to take in onto the fibers as well. But I'm going to try a couple of them with this stuff, and then I'm going to try a couple of them using the real deal. This stuff, the Dharma fiber reactive. In order to get started with that stuff, and my expectation here is what we do with the fiber reactive dyes are going to certainly be more saturated in color and more vivid, and have less of a chance of transferring dye to other clothes when they're washed later on. That's my expectation, but we'll find out. Step one. Well, first thing I've got to do is I have to soak the ones that I'm going to use with the fiber reactive dye. I have to soak those in a wash of soda ash. And I've got some right here. Let me show you. Yeah, I guess this stuff helps the dye to get into the actual fibers, and it makes it totally permanent. So anytime I work with like the soda ash or any powdered dyes or anything like that, which we're going to be doing today, yeah, these are real easy to get these days. Oh, and no, don't inject yourself with Lysol. Don't. Anyway, face mask. Because you don't want to breathe that stuff if you can help it. Yep. Okay. So you use about half a pound per gallon of water. So I'm not really going to measure it that accurately. That should do it. Something I forgot to mention is you really do want to wear some rubber gloves while you're doing this. This stuff is not good to get on your skin if you can avoid it. So I think we're almost dissolved. So I've got my face mask that I'll use anytime I have anything that's powdered out, whether it's dye or the soda ash. Got a bunch of rubber bands, some good protective gloves. And I'm letting this soak probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the soda ash solution. And these are the two shirts that I've separated out that we're going to use the little dye kit stuff on. This stuff. So let me mix up some of this right now. Okay, I'm not going to mix that up right this second. The first thing I'm going to do is tie. Because before you dye, you got to tie. So I'm going to tie up those two. I got to decide what I want to do with them. Maybe I'll do one that's just the standard swirl, and I'll show you in a sec. It's real easy. You just twist the shirt from the center. And the other one, what should we do with the other one? Maybe I'll just do a simple scrunch on that one, or I don't know. I have to think about that. I can't believe how hot it is here. I'm in Southern California, and I mean, I really don't even know what month it is anymore with this crazy quarantine. I don't really know what day of the week it usually is, but it's starting to feel like it's July. Okay, so for a twist, got the shirt laid out flat. I'm going to use a little clamp. I see some people just use their fingers or a wooden dowel, but I'm going to use this clamp and pick out right where we want the center of our swirl. And I'm going to make sure I've got both layers. Okay. And then just start winding it up. Yeah, look at that. It's working pretty good. You get it all the way into a disc, and then get some rubber bands. I can take the clamp out now, and just go around it with rubber bands. And I like to make it where we'll have like 6 pie slices, and that will be our mark for where we're going to put our different colors. For this second one, I folded it in half inside out and pulled the sleeves into each other. So what that'll do is once the shirt is done and it opens up, it should be like bookends where the pattern is the same on the left and the right. That's what I'm thinking. So maybe I'll fold it up like that, and maybe we'll do a twist on this one, so it'll have a whole series of twists instead of just the one big one. And this is going to take a lot more dye because there's going to be a lot more layers of material here. So I'm just going to twist this up and rubber band it. All right, now the fun part. I've got my dyes mixed. I mixed them with warm water. Something I should mention is I always wear safety glasses, and these yellow ones did not help me picking out the colors because I thought that one was going to be yellow because I was wearing these, and it turns out it's green. So that's okay. We're going to use all 4 instead of the original 3 I was going to plan. So let's start. Make sure it's well shaken. And ooh, here we go. Now I'm going to put it on pretty heavy because this is the one that's got 4 or 5 layers. So, and get it down into in between the folds, because nothing's worse than a tie-dye shirt that has too much white. So be sure and get it in there. All right, let's try our yellow next. And when I do my yellow, I'm going to like it that they overlap, because then we get some orange. Yeah, see, we're getting some orange there where the yellow and the red are mixing. Yeah, that's pretty neat. And again, I'm getting it into all the cracks. I'm not being shy. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to the blue. Yeah. And then some of our green. Boy, it's warm here. Then I'm going to turn it over and do more of the same from this side. And maybe even mix up where the colors are a little bit. This is going to be crazy. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, don't want to squish it too much to muddy it up, but now I'll do the other one. And I'm going to have to wipe this up. All right, that looks pretty good. So the next step is I'm going to bag them in plastic bags individually and to let them sit for, well, I'm going to let them sit until tomorrow. And now we get to start on the fiber reactive. Here we have 32 ounces of water, and I have dissolved 4 tablespoons of urea in this stuff. And then I'm going to choose colors. It turns out I had quite a few colors here. Haven't made my color choices yet, but then I'm going to put the colored powder in here, and then I'm going to use the urea, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the urea water, and pour it in and mix it, and then I'll tie up the shirts, and we'll be going with the really good fiber reactive dye. I've got 6 colors, and I've got everything tied up here. This is kind of a swirled skirt thing. This is kind of a pleated twist. This, I don't even really remember what that is. And this is just a crumple, and that's just another swirl. So I'm going to go ahead and apply all these colors, and of course put on my gloves first, and then I will place them all in plastic bags and let them sit overnight, and then I'll rejoin you when I'm rinsing them off. Okay, well, that's what I ended up with after application. You can see the 2 in the bag are the ones that I did earlier of the dye kit, and the others are all with the fiber reactive. So it should be interesting to rinse them out and open them up in the morning. I'm going to cover them with another big sheet of plastic to keep them damp all night, and see you in the morning. And just like that, it's the next day, and as you can see, I got some tie-dye shirts done. Look at this one I'm wearing. It came out pretty good. This is one that I folded down the middle, and I turned it inside out and put one sleeve through the other. So the sleeves are kind of a bookend sort of a thing, and the pattern's kind of the same. I did like a diagonal fold, and then just did the color every so often. And then look at these other ones. Here are 2 of the swirls. The one on the left, surprisingly, is the one that was done with this little toy kit from Amazon or Walmart or wherever we got it from. And the colors came out really good. It seems like it's pretty well saturated, but I think what'll happen is as you wash this, every time you wash it, it's going to lose a tiny bit more of its color, and it will eventually fade out, I expect. I don't know. I know that if I use just regular like RIT dye, that's what happens with RIT dye. I don't know if that's going to happen with this stuff or not. Now this one is a swirl done with the fiber reactive dye, and you know, I didn't go and buy anything to do this. I had all of this stuff laying around the garage. So I have a tub over there that I'll show you. You can't see it from here, but a big plastic tub that's got the dye shop label on it. And I used to do some dye work for the studio. So here is another one. This is also done with the toy dye, the Kmart stuff. And this one you can see is the one that I folded in half long ways. So I folded it over on itself and then folded the bottom up and then had a thing and gave it a little crazy twist. So it was a pretty cool pattern. I kind of like that pattern. It's unusual. It's kind of symmetrical, but I like it. And now this one is the fiber reactive die. And this one, I folded it this way. I pleated it this way. And then once it was pleated, then I pleated it this way. I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. I pleated it this way, and once I had the pleats done, I gave it twists, and then once it was twisted, I pulled it into a circle and rubber band both ends together. So that's why you can see the top and the bottom are red. And I had no idea what I was doing, but hey, it came out pretty cool. I like it. Then there's this one. This is the scrunch, where I just kind of grabbed it, wadded it all up real tight, and I think it looks pretty good. I like it. Put a little red right in the middle. And then last but not least is this beautiful cotton skirt that I did for Shannon, and it's pretty cool too. It's a little bit different, one side to the other, but it's got very nice vivid colors. And the thing with these fiber reactive dyes is you can wash them, a couple hundred times and the color shouldn't really change. The color is bonded to the actual cotton fibers. So that's it. Hey, I think they came out pretty good. So I did have all that stuff on hand because when I used to work for the movie studios, one of the things I did was I was known for having a dye shop available for the studios. And at the dye shop, we did all sorts of different crazy custom dye projects and fabric painting projects. And then we also were the only union shop there was in Hollywood that you could take your stuff in and get it professionally flame proofed and then have it actually certified. I was the only guy in the union that was a California state certified fire retardant inspector, so I could go and make tests and issue the paperwork that some insurance companies require if there's going to be a bunch of, well, actually it's a law, if you have a bunch of fabric inside a closed stage, it has to be flame proofed, especially if there's any open flame. But it's good practice to have it all flame proofed, and like big tents, things like that, should always be flame proofed. So that was also part of the dye shop. I'm sure you really were interested to know that. Hey, go tie-dye some stuff. I did. I like it. It makes me happy. Thanks for watching.